It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Since 2010, your weekly source for independent New York Red Bulls news and opinion. Now, from the Joe Goldstein studio, here's your host, Mark Fishkin.
The Red Bulls snapped the team's 5-match winless streak last night as the Red Bulls turned a 2-0 halftime deficit into a 5-3 win in a hot and sultry Harrison, New Jersey, in one of the most MLS games I've ever seen. Messi is coming in this Saturday. Can the Red Bulls keep it going? We're going to talk about it. Mark Fishkin here with a good friend, Daniel Rebain, who we sat together agog in the Red Bulls press box watching New York literally resuscitate itself, coming back from surely the dead to drop a house on a hapless New England Revolution team. We're going to get into the game, but just have you ever seen anything that crazy?
Actually, at the Club World Cup, we had a 4-4 like back and forth crazy game between Porto and Al Ahly. But yeah, last night's game, I mean, we'll get more into it, but to go from literally one half just not doing anything to saying, okay, now we'll actually start playing football, and then having a completely different half was insane. And to touch on the heat, I mean, that was a major understatement. Like, it was ridiculous.
It was a sauna. It was a sauna. Tonight on Seeing Red, we'll look back at what is just a crazy night in Harrison last night. We'll give our bull of the match. 3 Red Bulls make the MLS team of the match day, which is a record for this year. We'll look back at we'll look ahead at what's to come, what's left of this 2025 season that it feels like with Leagues Cup to come, Open Cup as well, we're kind of heading toward the home stretch. We'll preview Inter Miami's visit on Saturday, 48 hours ahead of the game. The match is not sold out on the primary market, which is interesting. Predictions, your email as well. Let's get into it. Okay, so for the second straight game, the Red Bulls come out really soft at the start of a game. They were down 2-0 after 25 minutes in Philly. They go down 2-0 on a nice Campana finish, and one of the more unlikely own goals you'll see, the ball going off the post and off the side of Kyle Duncan's head. You also have a goal called back due to a handball in the box. Thank you, VAR. And so, I mean, that first half, you talked about it, Dan. I mean, it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, I talked to Gary pregame, and we were talking about, what this team has been going through. And for whatever reason, it just seems like this team had this weight on their shoulders, and it was like holding them back for whatever reason. I don't know what this weight was, but since the turn of the calendar from May to June, it's just been a completely different team. And basically, I said they just need to, focus on just today. Just focus on today, not think about MLS Cup, because you can't win it.
Win it today.
You couldn't win it today. So clearly they did not listen to me. Clearly that pressure was holding them down still, and they played, as you said, soft. And even if that second goal didn't count coming back from VAR, I knew there was another goal coming. It just, you had that feeling that, this wasn't going to be their day in that first half, and everything was going to go wrong. So, they go into half down 2-0, as you said, for the second straight game.
Second straight game.
So, they did not look good. They didn't play well, and Coach Sandro Schwartz, took onus on that, and he said that was my fault.
Yeah, interesting. Daniel Edelman, who played tremendously, and we'll get into his spark that pushed the whole team. Edelman kind of disagreed with Coach and said, no, that this was definitely on us. I mean, New York, through the first 38 minutes, had 6 shots, not one of them hit on frame.
Yeah. And
finally, I think it was a weak dribbler from Edelman, actually, that Ivicic picked up. Very, very simple shot. But they were boos at halftime.
Mhm.
Eli Manning was booing this team. Just absolutely crazy. Okay. Caleb Porter, first of all, the Red Bulls first out of the locker room, and to his credit, Schwartz said he didn't say a whole lot to his team at the break. You would expect a tirade, throwing things, anger, any kind of antics possible to get his team to wake up. I think he just told the team to relax and
Yeah.
just play and not make it complicated and not worry about anything else that was happening. Caleb Porter took off a midfielder and put on a defender. Again, they're up 2-0 on the road, and all they need to do is just pack the back and see this out. It didn't work, and Edelman takes a shot from just outside the box. Not what I would call the hardest or most well placed shots, but it bounces off. It's just New York got a break. They
Yep.
just got a break in this game. Ball bouncing off a Revs defender into the net. It's 2-1, and you could see the Undertakers start to come out of the coffin next to the ring. I mean, New York, the confidence that they got in with that goal was undeniable. New York scored 3 times on 4 shots, including that Edelman shot. And some of the prettiest passing sequences you will see. Ronnie Donkor had, I think, the game of his Red Bulls career. Forsberg with some great finishes, Chupo with some great finishes. And you look up, the team scores 5 times in 31 minutes. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I said it yesterday. Once that one shot that Edelman got through, and he got a shot right before halftime, which he should have scored. He'll
Yes.
say that to himself. But that shot in the second half that they scored on, it was the first time that they got a shot through that initial line of defense from
Yep.
New England, and like you said, just happened to redirect off of guy into the net, and that's where it was. That's the change in the game. That was the big momentum shift in the game, and you can clearly see it. They were playing so free after that. I mean, you just talk about Ronnie Donkor. I think we all know he's got the talent. It's just about him putting it all together in consistency. I mean, it came out last night. His back heel flick to Forsberg to set up that second goal.
Yes.
And then Forsberg with the I'm gonna shoot, and then plays the pass to Chupo. It's just it was just so beautiful. And then Forsberg, then right 2 minutes
With
later
the curler.
with but it's not even about the shot. It's about how he set up the shot. He turns and takes an initial heavy touch on purpose to set up that shot to free him up from the defender. It's just this is what the team is. This is their capabilities. It's just, why can't they do it every game for 90 minutes?
Why did they need to go down 2-0?
And I feel like they talked about that last night. Chupo Moting talked to the media for the first time, I believe.
First time.
For us, at least.
Yeah.
The media. And he kind of said that. It's just we liked what we saw, but we just need to do it more consistently for 90 minutes. And they played some beautiful football. I was really impressed with that second half and that turnaround, because sometimes you can just go down 2-0 and just be like, I got it's not our day. But them to come out in the second half and score 5 goals in 30 minutes, just like Daniel Edelman said, we don't score 5 goals very often. So that was very impressive to see out of them.
No one does. I mean,
No.
it's really unheard of. Interesting points for me. We've seen that Forsberg to Chupo pass up the middle a number of times this year. Nice to see it here. Really, you could tell the whole back line was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Right.
Just lurking on that line. So
yeah, he's just sitting on the line. I was a little surprised that Forsberg decided to take the penalty kick. I know that Forsberg is the captain, but Chupo hasn't missed this year, and he's on a hat trick. He had that chance late in injury time on the really tough angle. He was one on Ivicic, and he put it
he
over
should have scored. Yeah.
He had a certain opportunity to get that Hattie, but we didn't get a chance to ask Chupo about that if I had to go back in time. But nevertheless, Donkor with 2 assists and a hockey assist. Yeah, Daniel.
I was gonna say they've done this before, where I think Chupo was on a hat trick for a penalty, and Forsberg took that penalty early in the season, and I think it's just
he takes the penalties.
They have a feel of when to take the penalty, and sometimes it's Emil's turn because Emil also hasn't missed as a Red Bull.
That's correct. No, that's the
thing about this team. They have a couple of guys where they go to the spot, they're gonna score. So, you might think it was a bit off, but I've seen this already. I trust both of them. So whoever steps up to the spot, I trust them to score. And yeah, that chance at the end where they start that counterattack in the 89th minute, and then Gengar just takes the patience to take that space,
yes,
and then the presence to make that cross through the smoke, and then Chupo would have been a world class goal, scissor kick, just puts it through the uprights, unfortunately, and over the crossbar for 3 points. So
again, Donkar with 2 primary assists and a hockey assist. Forsberg with 2 goals and an assist, Chupo with 2 goals. Just a magnificent turn of events. I mean, this was definitely a do you believe in unlikelihoods? And if you're Caleb Porter and the Revs, I mean, just devastating. And I know we're not focused on the Revs, but that must have been a very tough ride home for them. The Red Bulls put 7 of 20 shots on frame, 5 goals on 3.2 XG, and you have to think that the penalty kick is nearly a 1 XG. So they created a lot of something out of nothing. The Red Bulls up their home record to 8-1-2. They have 30 goals at home this year, which is the tops in MLS. When you consider they've hit for 7 at home, they've hit for 5 at home, they've hit for 4 at home.
Yeah,
that's a lot of the goals in 3 of their 11 home games. They improved to 2-8-1 when scoring first, and 1-5-2 when trailing at halftime. The first time this year they came back from a halftime deficit, and they are absolutely perfect when leading after 75 minutes. 9-0. These are stats and they're facts. They have no bearing on future performance. As I said, Forsberg, Chupo, Donkor all make team of the match day. For you, sir, who is your bull of the match in a phenomenal turn of events?
I think I could give it to either one of those 3 guys, but for me, I got to give it to Chupo because, for a lot of people, I don't think they expected him to put up these type of numbers in MLS because obviously we haven't seen a striker, this prolific per se since Bradley Wright Phillips.
Yes.
But this was my expectation. I expected him to be that goal scorer for this team. It was just about service, and we've seen it in some games where he hasn't got that service, but
yes,
when he does, he's putting goals in the back of the net, and his connection with Emil Forsberg is very evident. And I've liked it, especially like last night. You saw it with that. It's just they have a connection. Him just leaning on that defensive line, and
yes,
and Forsberg faking the shot just to slip him through. And then once he's through, he's scoring. So
it's automatic. Yeah,
I've loved what I've seen from Chupo for a majority of this season, and I think he's going to keep going. I think he gets up to that 20 goal mark.
Would be amazing. To be fair, there was one situation in the second half while the games were coming where Chupo gets the ball literally flat on Ivicic. Chupo hesitates. Ivicic doesn't bite, and Chupo, with the time running out, just puts it right into his chest.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You cannot complain about a 2-goal performance. Forsberg is the obvious choice, but Donkor's performance again, I think he set the bar for his own stature with the club. He was lovely in the press room after in the interview area.
His first English media availability.
First English media availability. He did a fantastic job. I mean, the kid's only 20 years old, and he basically he was asked about taking the opportunity, and his minutes have been building. Obviously, yes, there's room for him on the field now with Carvaggio's departure before Bergen comes in for Donkor to really kind of shine. And he said absolutely the right thing, which is when you're not getting minutes and you have an opportunity, you have to focus and make the most of the opportunity. And he completes this 5-10 minute interview and he hits it with the "Sue" afterwards. He was so proud of himself for conducting his first ever English press interview. So I'm going to give mine to Ronnie Donkor. Just, one of those nights, Daniel, it's every year during the summer, like there is always a summer midweek game where crazy things happen. Like
Yeah.
I remember the Dax late header for the win, or the JPA late goal comeback, and things like that. Just like this game, it just, when New York started scoring, there was lightning happening outside the arena that we could
Good
see from
old
our
heat
perch.
lightning. Yeah.
Heat lightning, and it heat up the Red Bulls. It was great. I want to take a look at what the remaining schedule is now for the Red Bulls. August is going to be a very busy month. Not only does Leagues Cup start on the 31st with Chivas playing at Red Bull Arena, they have to go to Cincinnati to play Monterrey, which is really kind of weird. They have Suarez, then that's the end of the group stage. If they qualify, then for, I guess it's for the top 8 teams go, because it's only 17, or maybe it's in the top 16. In any case, I'm speaking too much. They have the Open Cup at Philly and then the league game at Philly next to each other. And squeezing that Open Cup game in, if New York is able to advance out of the group stage of the Leagues Cup, will be interesting. But these games are running down. They're definitely going to have to make the most of their home games for sure, and find a way to do it on the road. Is there anything here that excites you or terrifies you, Daniel?
I like how they couldn't get back-to-back Philly games
Right.
this month, so they said, you know what, we'll push it back to next month and try to get back-to-back Philly games. Yeah, that match against Philly in the Open Cup is going to be very interesting, especially how the game last time ended up for them.
Yeah.
Especially on the road, it's against Philly. They've had their demons against Philly for the past
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. So they're gonna have to do something special in the Open Cup, and our colleague Michael Batista is gonna have a fantastic night if they do pull off a cup set, because that would be a cup set in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So he'll love that. That's gonna be the biggest game of the month for my viewing. Leagues Cup, they could do whatever they want in that. I don't really see anything unless they make it to like a semifinal or final, and they could potentially like qualify for CONCACAF Champions Cup. But yeah, that Open Cup game against Philly is going to be something I look out for.
Yeah, and there's a typo here. The semis in the Open Cup, which the Red Bulls would host, if they win, that would be Red Bull Arena on September 16th or 17th. Against Nashville. So very, very exciting stuff there. All right, let's get into Miami. Coming in match day 24. How do we get here? My God. Miami is having a very good season. They're 11-4-5. That's a good record. I mean, they've won more than half their games.
Especially with all the games they've played. That's right. 38 points. That's only good enough for 5th in the East, though, which tells you how far ahead those teams at the top of the East are. 38 points get you 5th. They've scored 44 and allowed 33. They're tied for 2nd in goals scored, and because of their involvement with the Club World Cup, they've only played 20 games to New York's 23. They are 1st in the league in goals per match. 6th in pass completion. Obviously, when you've got a Messi on the team, when you've got a Suarez, when you've got a Busquets, when you've got an Alba, your passes are going to be on target. This is the interesting stat for me. They're 19th in XG, which is kind of strange when you score 44 goals. Their goals minus expected is 9, which means that they score almost a quarter of their goals more than their expected goals on the season. And I guess when you have Leo Messi, that's the reason why they're the 1st in the league there. 2nd in shooting percentage, almost 43% of their shots are on target, and they have a pretty solid road record. And they've only lost twice on the road. So I mean, when you have most of the fans in the stadium are yours,
every game's
Messi
a home
fans,
game.
So yeah,
there you go. Their last 5, this has really been the Messi show. After getting clapped by PSG, they went down 4-0 to the eventual finalist in the round of 16 in the first half. I mean, that was a complete mismatch, which set off so many think pieces about what's wrong with MLS. It's like you're literally playing UEFA Champions League champion,
Who won
arguably
5-0 against Inter Milan in that final.
right. Arguably the best team in the world, save a blip against Chelsea in the Club World Cup final. But there is no shame in losing to PSG 4-0. None. Yeah. They took it to Montreal and trucked them. They got 2-1 over New England is good result for the Revs, frankly. They have a 2-1 win over Nashville where Messi scored twice. And then on Wednesday, I think this was a real wake-up call for them. I think they're just tired. A 3-0 loss that's at Cincy. Cincy's a real quality team. All right, themes for Miami: Messi, Uncle Messi. Whether it's his contract or needing to bring all of those washed-up Barca buddies with him from Florida, Messi's time at Miami has been something of a question mark. When he's in the team, everything the Herons do, understandably, goes through him. But when Messi's having an off day, like he was on Wednesday against Cincy, then Miami as a whole can have an off day. There's no doubt that he's the best player in Miami. I can't believe I've even read that, and makes them so much better, as evidenced by his run of 5 braces in a row in the league, helping Miami climb up the table, and his performances in the Club World Cup. There's certainly some baggage that comes with it. Contenders or pretenders? Again, they're 5th. Last year, despite what many thought, it was almost a given that under Tata Martino, Miami would romp to the Shield with Messi, and then they went on and did it. But with Martino departing and Javier Mascherano coming in, Miami impressed in the Club World Cup, being the only team to advance out of the group stage. They've been only slightly above average in MLS, picking up disappointing results against Cincy, Philly, Orlando, and Minnesota. Messi's always going to be a threat, but there's a serious case made that Mascherano is holding this team back somehow. Interesting. A look at the history between these two clubs. It's only the 12th all-time meeting. Miami's only been around since 2020. I mean, they're a COVID baby. Red Bulls lead this series 6-5. The last time they met was Miami tattooing New York in Fort Lauderdale 4-1. That was not the most fun, but that was definitely a get to the choppa match. The Red Bulls have lost the last 2 games in the series by a combined score of 10-2. However, the Red Bulls have a lead 3-2 in Harrison. Lewis Morgan, the all-time and active, I'm using that in quotes, goal scorer. There are a couple of other guys on the team that have a couple. Here's what Mascherano's lineup could look like. It could be Novus Rio in the net. He has 4 goals against, 0 clean sheets. Jordi Alba, Maximiliano Falcon, Argentines and Spanish all throughout this lineup. Tomas Aviles, Marcelo Weigand from Argentina. The mids, Velasco Segovia, 22-year-old Venezuelan who has 6 goals and 3 assists, which is pretty good if your name isn't Messi or Suarez. Sergio Busquets, 6 assists. Italian Yannick Bright could play tomorrow. He has yet to pick up a point. Tadeo Allende, another Argentine, has 10 goals for the Herons and an assist from right mid. And then up top, Luis Suarez, only 9 and 12. And Leo Messi with 22 goals and assists in all comps. Just, again, you don't score 5 braces in a row without impressive numbers. Despite his advanced age of 38, it's important to remember he's 38 years old.
He's on now.
Yeah, he's getting up there. So New York can certainly come back from 2-0 down against, frankly, an Eastern Conference bottom feeder like New England. New York can't take a half an hour to start the game again against this side. Dan, what do you see?
Yeah, and I'll say thankfully they're getting this game in now, so they won't have to face Rodrigo de Paul before he comes in from Atletico Madrid.
That's right.
But yeah, like you said, they can't come out the gate slow again. If they do, they will not come back. They will be down 5-0 going into halftime. So yeah, like I said, they need to come out, just get stuck in. I feel like someone's just got to get stuck in early. Don't take a yellow card, but give someone a good foul. Say, hey, we're out for this fight. That's the type of game they need to start early. They need to show other teams that they won't get pushed around, and they need to do that because I think, like you said, with that loss against against Cincy, Miami, that was a wake up call for them. That they need to come out strong against Red Bull. So I'm expecting a big fight. I think Red Bull's home record versus Messi on the road and his followers. So you said that the game's not fully sold out, but I expect a whole lot of noise on Saturday. So
this is the first time since Messi's been in the league that I was unable to move my tickets, and I did not price them what I thought was outrageous for the front row of the upper deck behind the South Ward. They didn't move. And so a friend of mine said, hey, can I have them? And I passed it up. But I don't know if there, I mean, do you feel like there's just soccer fatigue right now? Like if you shelled out some decent bucks to get into the Club World Cup last weekend, maybe you're kind of done. Maybe it's like, oh, Messi's coming. It's like, I did the soccer. I don't know. It's just, it's a little nuts.
Especially in this area. I think, we've already had, what is it? Like, did he play last year? Right, he played last year?
No, last year was the monsoon, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Luis Suarez didn't look like
Luis Suarez was not happy.
But yeah, I mean, I think we had that with his first game here, even though he came off the bench. So this might be his first start. So that might be interesting for fans. But like you said, that the Club World Cup was so ridiculously priced, especially like with the Real Madrid games over here. The final was like $250 just to get in the building. So yeah, it just might be a little bit of fatigue, and this game came at the wrong time for some fans that were hoping to see Messi. But I still expect to see a sellout crowd. So I think I talked to my friend who's a supporter, and he actually sold both his tickets for $500 each, and they're in the lower bowl, like 10 rows up. So
it's all about timing.
Yeah.
New York is only 4 points above the line right now. And say what you want, the transfer window can't open soon enough. New York is going to need some help. And they're going to have to continue their strong home form. And they must find a way to get results on the road if they want to make October to be a little more reasonable. And I want to go back and put the remaining calendar up, finishing with with City and the 2 Ohio clubs. That's not great.
Yeah, no, that's a tough end.
That's a tough end. So they need to start stockpiling points. All right. That said, do you have a prediction, my friend, as to what we might see Saturday night?
This is going to be a tough game. It's just like you brought up the contenders or pretenders thing. Anytime Messi is actually on the field, Inter Miami is the best team in the league. Sometimes they'll have a stinker like they did on Wednesday, but for a majority of the time, they are going to be the best team that you probably see all season. And I think for them, they saw that winning Supporters Shield is a grind, and it caught up to them last year, and that's why they weren't able to go as far as they would have hoped to in the playoffs. So I think they've kind of learned about the American way is like you don't have to be in first, you just need to get in, and then once you get in, that's when you really have to go full force and those 4 or 5 wins that you need to get to the final to win MLS Cup. So I think Saturday is going to be a battle, especially in midfield. I think, they're gonna have a tough test, especially if it's Daniel Edman and Ronnie Donkor. I mean, Donkor is coming off his best game of his career, but now he's got to go play Sergio Busquets. So, this is gonna be a tough game. I think Red Bull can use the momentum of the second half to their advantage. Miami's gonna come out of the gates hot. If they can kind of negate that and still 0-0 after 20 minutes, I think Red Bull could be in a good spot. So I will say there will be goals. I'm expecting goals. I'm expecting Messi to score. So I'll say a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. I agree with you 100%. New York cannot concede in the first 20 minutes of the game. If they do, I mean, again, Miami is not New England, and they're not going to be able to get work back into a game like that if they go down 2-0. for the third straight game. So I'm going to call it a 2-1 Miami win that will put a damper on New York as they get ready to head to Chicago. But agree with you, Daniel, like getting this game out of the way is going to be a big deal. The game it's not sold out now. It will sell out for sure. And so hope for dry skies. If you're going to Red Bull, I almost put it in there. If you're going to Sports Illustrated Stadium, please, 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 however much time you think you need to get into Harrison, put another hour on it and get there an hour earlier. It's going to be,
take the train.
If you can, if you live in a community, take the train. The last thing I want to say before we go to break, 15 years after this building was built, finally, with the $100 million investment from Sports Illustrated, the team has put a sign on the side of the stadium.
I noticed that yesterday, and I really thought to myself, I was like, was this not already there? Is this
no?
I really was thinking about that as I was entering. I was like, I've definitely seen that before, but no, apparently that was brand new. So
for someone that for a long time took that train right past the stadium twice a day and had to explain to people when it was going up, what is that thing? To have the stadium look like a garbage bag, like the best kept secret in professional sports, right? What's that? The idea that Red Bull was so immune to marketing the team and doing something as simple as please put a lighted sign on the side of the stadium addressing the highway that literally hundreds of thousands of people take every single day.
I'd put it up to millions.
Think, people. All right. When we're back on Seeing Red, your emails, a happy one from after last night's game and a not happy one from after the Philly game. Keep it here. Back on Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Hope you're enjoying this show as much as we enjoyed Wednesday night's really bonkers victory when it came to the Red Bulls coming out from 2-0 down. As you may know, if you're still watching, you can write us anytime at seeingredny at Gmail. Daniel, would you like to read the happy email or the sad email?
I'll take the second one.
You'll take the second one. Is a happy one. All right. Here's Alondra Middleton, who wrote us after the demoralizing beatdown against Philly. And to the Red Bulls' credit, the second half was a lot better than the first, but at no point did you really feel like Philadelphia was out of control of that game.
Yeah.
And that's why, Alondra says, all right, I got to get this off my chest. As a diehard New York Red Bulls fan, this season has been soul crushing. It's gotten to the point where I've actually decided to cancel my MLS season pass. Hopefully Alejandro did not do that before halftime of Wednesday night's game.
Hopefully he still has July,
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I've actually decided, right. But honestly, watching the Red Bulls lately after a hot May, it just feels like a chore. The lack of attacking ideas is numbing. It's just not the product I signed up for. And if I'm paying good money to be disappointed every weekend, then what's the point? It's a tough call, but I'm just not getting that joy anymore. On that note, a huge question for me, because I focused on this player a few weeks ago, trying to figure out his value. Why does Coach Schwartz continue to play Peter Stroud consistently? It feels like there are other options, or at least the need for a change of pace in midfield. He keeps getting significant minutes. What's the thinking here? Alex, thank you so much for writing. Daniel, you want to take a shot?
I'll take a hit on his canceling the season pass. And sometimes as a fan you get to that point where you're like where you're watching the team you support, it's not fun and it becomes a chore, and sometimes you need to take that break, and eventually you'll get that that fire back in your body to be like, I'm back in. So Alejandro, take that break you need, because everybody needs it. Everybody gets burned out. It happens to everybody. But yeah, I think I think we've been asking that question about Stroud for, a couple of months now. It's not really. I wouldn't even say it's a fault to him because I think it's him still working his way back to full health from that injury. Because we all have to remember his injury last year. Dislocating your ankle or breaking your ankle.
Breaking your ankle, yeah,
is not the easiest thing to come back from, and we just saw that happen with Jamal Musiala in the Club World Cup. Like, he's going to be out 5 to 7 months. It's a long comeback, and then once you come back, sometimes you're not even the same player. Like, remember when Peter Stroud was injured, he was so dynamic on the field that they were playing him as an attacking 10 on the right side.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate, but he's right. He should not be getting this consistent starts until he finds that game that he had pre-injury. But that's also on Ronald Donkar to come in to the lineup, which he hadn't done all season. When he got that opportunity to take that starting role from a Peter Stroud, and I think that's what's been missing is that competition in midfield, because you can do whatever you want on a training pitch. You can battle all you want, push each other, but once it comes to the game time, you have to show your worth. And Ronald Donkor thankfully did that last night, and he's definitely earned another start. We will see him on Saturday.
Yes.
Sandro Schwartz talked about, it wasn't even just last night, but his second half against Philly, he had a great game against Minnesota. He brought up as well. So I think Ronald Donkor is kind of starting to build this momentum like he was last year. Because remember, he kind of burst onto the scene last year in the summer, and you're like, whoa, here we go. This is the player that we've been looking for, or a guy that could play with the ball at his feet, play next to Daniel Edelman and be that youthful guy before Felipe Carvalho came in. And an injury in preseason kind of hampered him starting the season.
Yeah.
So he got off to that slow start, and getting subbed off in the first half definitely doesn't help you at all. So I think Donkor is in a good frame of mind heading into the latter part of the season, and now it's on Peter Stroud to build his game up. Don't get down on yourself, because obviously it's hard to play in this league. So
yeah.
It's on him to build himself up, and I hopefully when Bruggen comes in as well, that's just another guy that's just gonna push everybody. And iron sharpens iron. That's definitely the saying I love to say. Iron sharpens iron. More players bringing in, testing each other is going to benefit this team going forward.
Agree 100%. And there is such a thing as form.
Yep.
And form waxes and wanes. And I think it's okay for a player like Donkor, as you said, Daniel, to get an opportunity to play more. And it just sends Stroud back to the training pitch to try and build his form back to hopefully get in games. And I'm not to just mimic what you said, but like, you want that competition in practice. That's how players identify themselves as ready for bigger things. And yeah, I mean, Donkor's had a really tough run this year. He has not shown the way that he showed when he first got here. I mean, Schwartz just kind of threw him on last year, and he acquitted himself very well, and he got hurt and he missed time. But development and progression is not a straight line up to the right. There are pits, there are valleys, there are mountains, and for Stroud as well. And so, be thankful that the Red Bulls have enough depth at this position with Gustav Berggren, all but sure to be joining the team on the 24th when the transfer window opens. So, yeah, I mean, thank you, Ali. And again, I totally get, look, when the team goes winless in 5, that's a long time to just be saying this is not fun or good for me. I thought the Minnesota game was good. I really did. I thought that was a terrific match. But it's not fun to go a month plus without a win. It's not fun. But I have to say that the team is in the middle of the East. This is not a much different position from where the team was last year. They were rarely below the line. They, struggled at parts. They finished their May stretch of their schedule really well. They're in the quarterfinals of the Open Cup. Like, they're a fair to Midland team right now. And that's okay. Because as Daniel said earlier, you don't win MLS Cup in July. So I would agree by saying, rather than throwing the controller, understand that teams go up, teams go down. They're right in the middle of the league. Half the league would. I say this often. Half the league would love to be where the Red Bulls are right now. Half the league.
Yeah.
That the part of New England would love to be where the Red Bulls are right now. So, all right. Thank you so much, Alejandro, for writing. Jordan, frequent writer to the show with the happy email that Daniel gets to read.
Yes, I get to read Jordan's happy email. Morning. This was an interesting game. At the half, I was ready to send a burn it all down email, but luckily there was a second half. It's pretty clear New York needs more firepower, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Doncourt's performance and where Julian Hall is starting to fit in with the team best. I think we kind of touched on Doncourt. I think, that was the best performance we've seen probably of his career, definitely this season.
Yes.
It was just that, he's always had that confidence. But it was just about him translating that confidence to on-field success. And you can clearly see that he was really locked in last night. And with that back heel to Forsberg, I think that was the big kind of, point that you can look at and be like, yes, he was on his game, because he had an assist earlier for Daniel Lemmon's first goal, but it was just kind of a normal pass back, and it was a lucky goal to even go in. But then him picking up that rebound later in the game off of Gengar's diving effort to send that ball back in for Chupo, it's that patience about not rushing things, because he could have easily have first time crossed that back into the box, and then the chance is gone. But him to circle back and then to see Chupo coming in late, feeding that ball to the penalty spot for that fourth goal was very good. It just shows his mental capability, his IQ on the field. So I was really happy with that. And then for Julian, I thought that was actually one of his better performances. For whatever reason, I just feel like he's lacked that sharpness, and that kind of happens when you're only coming on for 10 minutes at a time. But yesterday it seemed like he was way more active in the minutes that he got, and him getting in behind the defense. I think that was the first time all season I've seen him actually, lean on that defensive line and then be sent in and then win that race. Because I've seen him try to win a race, but he hasn't won that race. And again, he's only still 17, so he's still maturing that speed to the senior level. So him to even then cut back on his defender and get tackled in the box to earn that penalty, I thought that was great from him. Obviously, he wasn't going to take the penalty because they weren't, Forsberg and Chupo, that's their thing. And they've already said that, that comes from the coach as well, that those are the two guys that take penalties. But I think that shows a bit of maturity from Julian, not to fight for the ball or anything like that, just to be content that he earned that penalty and kind of contributed to the team in his own way. So I liked what I saw there, and I hope it kind of continues from here, because I think there's a lot more to see from Julian when he gets on the pitch.
If you get a bull of the week for getting suplexed in the box, I have rarely seen in professional sports a player being lifted, tackle at the 5-yard line. I mean, that was really something. I echo everything you say about Hall. He's building a resume that hopefully will lead to more minutes. I mean, I remember in the first half we talked about this during midseason grades. He got the start in Atlanta. It didn't really go well. It's very difficult to build momentum for yourself when you're averaging 5 to 7 minutes an appearance, and it doesn't happen every week. And so it's just tough. And if Werner signs, it's just going to push him further back in terms of his development, in terms of getting first team minutes. So if I'm Hall, I'm probably a little frustrated, but the kid's got nothing but time, and he's just got to wait his turn. But
I will say,
yeah,
just not to cut you off or anything, but I will say if they actually do bring in Werner, I think, not only him just being there on the training pitch
yeah,
would
it's
help
going to help.
Julian, because I feel like they could be very similar players.
Yep.
Like when Julian finally hits that ceiling, I think that could be a Timo Werner when he was playing at Leipzig.
Yes.
But it also help him, because he's only 17. Him going down to Red Bull 2 shouldn't be an indictment on his game.
Not one bit.
And when he is playing at Red Bull 2, he's one of their better players when he actually does get a start. Obviously, there's other Red Bull 2 players playing fantastic, but that's for a different show.
That's for a different show. We've come to an end of a terrific Seeing Red after truly a magical night in Harrison. And, it was a decent crowd for a midweek summer game. I will tell you that in years to come, tens of thousands of people will say that they were there. If you were there, that was a special experience. And again, 5 goals in 31 minutes. It's only the second time in club history that they've scored 5 in the second half of a game, and that's 30 seasons. So just an incredible rarity. The DPs again are doing the heavy lifting for the team and keeping them afloat. There's some distance between the top teams and this Red Bulls team, and if things work out well, I would absolutely take a draw as a victory against the Miami side, where the talent involved is obviously a huge difference. So Daniel calls it a what on Saturday?
2-2 draw.
Great. I call it a 2-1 loss. Sue me. Where can folks find you, sir?
I will just say one thing before I tell you where you can find me.
Okay.
Being back at Red Bull Arena was a great game.
What about Sports Illustrated Stadium? What about being there?
Oh, that is also true. Sports Illustrated Stadium. I will say it sucked last night. Just sitting there, it was hot. Oh my God, I was spoiled for the past month to be at MetLife Stadium and their inside press box, AC. So me showing up last night, I almost took my shirt off. I was just dying. I almost passed out with all the sweat that was coming out of my body.
Are you in Torcida now? Is that what you were doing?
I mean, I might as well have just gone down there and joined them. But
it was hot.
But yeah, it was hot. I'm gonna have to get used to that again. But hey, first game back, first win since I left for the Club World Cup for Red Bull. So maybe maybe I'm a good luck charm heading into the final part of the season. But
will you be there on Saturday?
I will. I got approved. So
interesting. Right.
So yeah, you can go find me at Area Sports Network for any MLS coverage. And for any hockey coverage, I might be getting into college hockey this season too.
Well, we're going to have to talk some BU Terrier hockey then, because that's some good stuff.
Hey, Big Mike.
Five-time national champions.
You can find me at Bad Dog Sports for that. So a lot of stuff coming.
A lot of stuff coming from the Red Bulls as well. Again, if you're going to Sports Illustrated Stadium this weekend, please give yourself extra time. However much time you think you need. Extra time.
And bring water.
Agreed. Thank you to Zach Feldman for stats, and thank you to all for watching. We'll be back with more Seeing Red next week, episode 621 in the books. Have a good night, everyone. Let's go Red Bulls. Bye-bye.